Sunday dinners at my mother-in-law's had long been a tradition. Linda always prepared something special, and the twins adored their grandmother's cooking. Today, a roasted turkey graced the table, my favorite recipe. Incredibly delicious, I sincerely praised the dish. You've outdone yourself. Thank you, Peter, Linda smiled, charming wrinkles appearing at the corners of her eyes. I remember how you praised the turkey last Christmas. After divorcing her husband, she seemed to grow younger, changed her hairstyle, started wearing more modern clothes. Today, she wore a blue dress that accentuated her slender figure. Mom, you'll help with the kids tomorrow. Mary tried to convince the twins to finish their vegetables. They have a dentist appointment at 6. Sorry, dear, but I can't tomorrow. I have computer literacy classes. All right. Peter, could you look at Mom's computer? She complained it's running slow. Of course, no problem. After dessert, Mary started gathering the children. Honey, will you stay and help Mom clean up? I'll take the twins home. They're already falling asleep. Don't worry, Mary. Linda began stacking plates. I can manage. Mom, let Peter help. He wanted to look at your computer anyway. When Mary and the children left, the house became unusually quiet. Clouds gathered outside. Looks like a storm, Linda noted, loading the dishwasher. The forecast predicted heavy rain. Let me wash the dishes while you wipe the tables? Deal. We worked in silence. I couldn't help observing her movements, graceful, confident. At 50, she maintained a remarkable femininity. The first drops drummed on the roof. Thunder rumbled somewhere in the distance. Coffee? She offered. With pleasure. Linda reached for a jar on the top shelf. Her dress rode up slightly, revealing slender legs. I quickly looked away. Help? She stood on tiptoes. Can't reach? I stepped behind her, reached for the jar. Her hair smelled of jasmine. At that moment, a deafening thunderclap made us jump, and the lights went out. Damn, Linda cursed. Now this too. In the darkness, her voice sounded unusually intimate. I took out my phone, turned on the flashlight. There were candles somewhere. She moved toward the kitchen cabinets. I think in the upper one. Her heel caught on the carpet, and she stumbled. I managed to catch her by the waist. Careful. My hands lingered on her body a bit longer than necessary. Thanks. She didn't hurry to move away. I can be so clumsy sometimes. In the phone's light, I could see her breathing heavily. We stood too close. Let me get the candles. I reluctantly let go of her. 3 thick candles were found in the cabinet. Their flickering light created a strange, almost magical atmosphere. I have wine. Linda opened the refrigerator. Since coffee didn't work out, care to join me? What would Mary say? What's wrong with it? 2 adults waiting for the power to come back on. Besides, you're my son-in-law. She got out glasses, opened a bottle of red. We settled on the couch, seemingly far from each other, but in the candlelit space, any distance felt intimate. How's work? She asked, sipping wine. Fine, lots of projects. Mary says you're staying late often. Yes, home just isn't as cozy as it used to be. I understand, she put down her glass. After the divorce, it took me a year to get used to an empty house. George, for all his faults, created a presence. Another thunderclap made us jump. Linda jerked, spilling wine on her dress. Damn, just what I needed. Let me get a napkin. I reached to help. Our hands met on the wet fabric. In the dim light, her eyes seemed bottomless. Peter, her voice trembled. What? We're sitting too close. But neither of us made any attempt to move away. The thunder grew louder. The rain turned into a real downpour, drumming on the roof and windows. The candles cast bizarre shadows on the walls. You know, Linda set down her empty glass, sometimes I envy Mary. Why? She has you, caring, attentive. George was never like that, always busy with work, his own affairs. I'm not perfect either. None of us are perfect, she smiled sadly. But you know how to listen, to understand. Linda, sometimes I catch myself thinking, if only I could meet a man like that. Who would look at me the way you look at Mary? How am I looking at you now? She froze, meeting my gaze. The way you shouldn't. My fingers touched her cheek. Her skin was soft, warm. Linda closed her eyes. We shouldn't, she whispered, but leaned in. I know. Her lips were soft, tasting of wine. Thunder muffled our sighs. Candles cast golden gleams on her skin as the dress slipped from her shoulders. This is madness, she breathed between kisses. Complete madness, I agreed, pulling her closer. Everything merged into a whirlpool of sensations. The couch creaked under our weight. Rain muffled the sounds of passion. Every moment was filled with excitement. In the semi-darkness, breathing sounded, and quiet words made heads spin. The storm gradually subsided. We lay intertwined, listening to the fading rain. "What have we done?" Linda whispered. I didn't know what to answer. In the silence, only our breathing and distant thunder rolls could be heard. The lights came on so suddenly that we jumped. Reality burst in with the electricity, mercilessly destroying the intimacy of the moment. "God," Linda hurriedly fixed her dress. "What time is it?" 8:30. "Mary will be back soon, and we need to clean up." In the bright lamplight, everything looked different. Wrong. We avoided looking at each other, hastily putting the room in order. "Linda, we need to talk." "No," she shook her head. "Not now, not about this." "But we should." "What? Discuss how we just betrayed my daughter? Your wife?" She nervously fixed her hair in the mirror. "It didn't happen." "What?" "Nothing happened, just the storm, darkness, wine, a moment of weakness." "But what if—" "No what ifs, Peter. You have a family. My daughter, my grandchildren. We'll just forget." "Can you—" "I'll have to." The front door slammed. Mary and the kids were back. "Whoa! What a storm!" Mary came in, shaking her umbrella. "Can you believe half the neighborhood lost power? How did you manage here?" "Fine," Linda smiled almost naturally. "I had candles, and Peter helped pass the time." "You're the best," Mary kissed me. "Shall we go home? The kids are exhausted." As I left, I looked back. Linda stood by the window, hugging herself. In the lamplight, she seemed especially fragile and lonely. "Bye, Mom," Mary called out. "Goodbye," she answered without turning around. Sunday dinner at the mother-in-law's had always been a tradition. But now, every minute turned into exquisite torture. I noticed Linda wore a high-necked dress, completely inappropriate for the weather. She bustled around the kitchen, trying to stay away from the main table.
"Mom, you're acting strange today." Mary helped set the table. "Did something happen?"
No, just didn't sleep well. The storm. You know how I fear them. I almost choked on my coffee. The twins ran around, demanding their grandmother's attention. She hugged them, laughed, but I saw tension in her every movement. "Speaking of yesterday," Mary put down the salad bowl. "How did you handle the power outage?" "Fine." Linda barely noticeably flinched. "I had candles." "And the computer? Did Peter look at it?" "No," we answered simultaneously and immediately fell silent. Mary looked at us strangely. "What's with you? You seem tense." "Just tired." Linda started serving soup. "Peter, please pass the salt." Our fingers accidentally touched. She pulled her hand away so quickly that the salt shaker fell, spilling its contents on the tablecloth. "God, Mom!" Mary jumped up for napkins. "You're not yourself today." "Sorry, dear, lately I've been a bit scattered." After lunch, Mary took care of the children while we stayed to clear the table. Silence rang between us like a taut string. "We need to talk," I said quietly, stacking plates. "No." "Linda, listen." I said no. She furiously wiped the already clean table. "Everything's been said." "You're not sleeping. Neither am I." "It will pass." "What if it doesn't?" She finally looked at me, tears glistening in her eyes. "It has to pass. We have no choice." "Mom!" Mary's voice from the living room made us jump apart. "Where's the children's medicine?" "In the bathroom, top shelf," Linda called back, quickly wiping her eyes. "We can't go on like this," I whispered. "I know. That's why I'm going to my sister's in Portland tomorrow." "What, for how long?" "For a month, maybe more. I need time." "And what about the kids, Mary?" "I'll say that my sister is ill, that she needs my help." Her voice was filled with such pain that my heart clenched. "Linda." "Don't, Peter. Just let's pretend that thunderstorm never happened." A week after Linda left for Portland, I received a message from her. "We need to meet. Tomorrow at 2, Blue Moon Cafe on Washington Street, please." I found her at a far table by the window. She had lost weight, shadows lay under her eyes. An untouched cup of coffee stood on the table. "How's Portland?" I asked, sitting across from her. "A great city to hide from reality." She tried to smile. "My sister thinks I'm depressed after the divorce. Funny, isn't it?" "Linda." "No, listen." She raised her hand. "I've been thinking a lot there in Portland. About us, about that night, about everything. You know what I realized?" "What?" "That we can't destroy our family. We have no right. Mary, she doesn't deserve such betrayal." "I know." "Really? Then why every time I close my eyes I see you, feel your touch, why can't I sleep at night?" Her voice was shaking. The waitress approached the table, but Linda waved her off. I'm selling the house, she suddenly said. What? I'm moving to my sister's for good, already found a realtor. And what about Mary? I'll say I want to start a new life, that I'm tired of being lonely. She'll understand. You're running away. No, I'm saving us all. Because if I stay, if I keep seeing you every Sunday, I won't be able to, Peter. I just won't. It started raining outside. Like then, I have already filled out the paperwork. She took out an envelope. Here, give this to Mary. Everything is explained there. Linda, please. No, she stood up. It's better this way, for everyone. She leaned in, lightly brushed her lips against my cheek. Take care of her and the kids. Be happy. I watched her walk away in the rain and understood she was right. Sometimes love isn't about being together. It's about finding the strength to let go. That evening, Mary was reading the letter while I looked out the window. A thunderstorm was starting. Poor Mom, Mary said. She probably really needs a change. Probably. You know, I'm glad she has us, especially you. You've always taken such good care of her. I remained silent. Outside the window, lightning split the sky in half. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.